What's up, guys? Hope you're doing great. We got a special guest here on the podcast today, which I'm excited about, because every time when we get to talk to someone that's not just myself, that's a really cool thing. But especially tonight, because there's a guy that somehow somehow came upon my YouTube channel years ago and commented on a lot of my stuff over the years. And then we got to meet up at the actual Expo, maybe not last year, but the year before. And just a great guy. We've commented, we've talked back and forth over email and messages over the last, couple of years, and just a great guy. And he actually has been showing some really cool stuff on his YouTube channel as well. And he just made a really cool purchase recently. So how you doing, buddy? Tell people who you are, what your name is, what your business is about. And we'll talk about your purchase a little bit later. But, yeah, go ahead.
Sure. First off, hi, Tony. Thanks for having me on. My name's Ron. I own Greenscapes, Ohio. We're in Northeast Ohio. Been in the business about 24 years. So
wow.
For a while.
So how did you somehow stumble upon my channel, or however it is that I can't remember how you exactly the first way that you even communicated with me, but so tell us briefly, because I really actually want to know myself, like, how did you even find me or this or that? Because I'm not like a huge YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think it was back before, there were so many, right? And then pretty much if you searched for anything lawn care or landscaping related, there were just a handful of guys, and you were one of them. So I found you way back when you were getting started.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So you're where in Ohio are you again?
It's Northeast Ohio. Basically, I guess the easiest way for people to get it would, if you've ever been to like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I'm about 25, 30 minutes from there, kind of around where, less than half an hour from like Spencer's Lawn Care.
Oh,
A lot of
wow.
people are probably familiar with him.
Yeah, he's one of the OGs, and he's really, really taking it serious and done it every day. And yeah, it's crazy what him and Savannah really done with it now. And that's really cool. So you're close to them. So are you able to like go to their meetups or stuff?
Yeah, I've been to. They do something at that their dealer Schlabach. They do like a Christmas thing. They do like a toy drive for the kids and a dinner and some stuff like that. I've been to that. I think that's about it. I don't know what else they've done. I may have missed something, but I did make it to that one year.
That's really cool. And so so you've been in the business for 24 years. Are you mowing like cool season grass or what?
Yeah, for the most part. A lot of mowing and landscaping, stuff like that.
I got you. But what is your primary grass type over there? Because I'm not familiar with Ohio. I've been up and down like on the East Coast a bunch because my dad's family lives in upstate New York. So growing up, I've been up and down through there, but haven't been over, more west, like over where you are. So like I don't even know. Tell us, like, what does like the grass look like over there? Like, things like that. Is it kind of like how it is like in the Northeast, or is it different, or what?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty different. Mainly, fescues. Kentucky bluegrass is huge. Perennial ryegrass, tall fescue. A little bit of everything, but we don't see, like the stuff down in Florida, stuff like that. We're mostly cool season grass and a lot of Kentucky bluegrass.
Yeah, and so you have stripes over there where you are.
Yeah. That's one of the benefits. Pretty easy to make them look good up here, to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I always envy that because I mow Southern turf, so like, man, when I see stuff on your YouTube channel or just know the area that you're in, it's like, man, I don't know. I kind of wish that I could do stripes like that.
It has its ups and downs. It does stripe really well, but it gets out of control so fast. The springtime, it's not unheard of for 8 to 10 inches of growth from week to week, and then it's wet and it's thick and it's it looks great when you're done, but it takes some work to get it there.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how that could be a battle because sometimes in the winter, I will put ryegrass like in my front yards, maybe I don't know, quarter acre, half acre, maybe just my front yard. I have a full
Sure.
acre, but I only do rye on part of it because it would just burn out like like in spring or summer, but
Right.
it's it's cool because here like ryegrass will grow like all during the winter. Um, so sometimes I'll do that in my yard, and some years it looks so beautiful, and I can see what you're saying because I cut it high, but then you could cut it twice a week, like
Sure.
when it when it's really rocking and rolling it and it's still have clumps and stuff, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah, for sure.
so I can kind of see what you're dealing with. It's a different mindset because here like southern turf, it's still really thick. You still have some grass clumps that you got to deal with, but it just it's a little different, like how it looks and how it feels when you do it because you're cutting shorter. But it's still, we still, it's more of a jungle here. Like there's more weeds and
Sure.
things. The weeds and the grass it like crawls through the ground and on the ground.
Yeah.
More than so it can really be annoying, like for beds and stuff, because stuff is grows more horizontal than probably more vertical where you are. See what I mean? Um,
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
so yeah, I guess
We
that
get a
can.
lot of dandelions and crabgrass and clover stuff like that, but we don't get any of those weird weeds that you guys have.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess those are some pros and cons, some ups and downs in it. So 24 years. So does that mean so
Yeah.
so was it like Y2K and then you're like, hey, I'm gonna start my lawn business now? Is that what it was?
It was actually 99. So I briefly worked for a company locally where I grew up, and I mean like 2 or 3 months, and I quickly realized that it was something that I should be doing for myself rather than making basically making someone else a bunch of money when I could be doing it. Like there wasn't a huge barrier to entry, right? it was
mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
was something that I could get into fairly easily. So I did. I started that, and I was really blessed to have a guy a friend, worked for a local newspaper. And back then, 25 years ago, newspapers were still a big deal. He knew I was starting the business, and he said, "Hey, how about we put an article in the paper about your business?" And I was like, "Great, let's do it." He wrote a nice article, took a picture, put it in there, and honestly, so much work. Like overnight,
Oh
I got
wow.
completely overwhelmed. Just so much. I ended up hiring a lot of people. It just went from just starting out to huge very quickly. And so I did that for probably close to 3 years, and it was just bigger and bigger and bigger. But at the same time, we were having kids, and it was quite a commitment, right? As you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine,
Mm-hmm.
just getting started, it was daylight to dark basically out in the field. And then after that, repairs and invoicing and emails and calling people back. It was way too much at the time, with having young kids and stuff. I was just, it was all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
actually had an opportunity for another company. One of the big guys in the green industry, they actually, I think in 2002, I believe, they actually bought me out,
Oh
and
wow.
I took a position with them. Um, and again, it is one of the I don't know if we should talk about the company in particular, but
Right.
they're up there near the top of the top 100 list, a huge national corporation. And it just wasn't for me. That lasted a couple years. It was just very, very, I mean, I'm all for rules and procedures, but it was kind of dog eat dog. A lot of salesmen, they weren't giving you, the salesman's job is to sell the job, and then he makes a commission based off that sale. So he may cut corners, right? He might not give you enough time to do your job. He might not
Mm-hmm.
give you
Mm-hmm.
the right amount of materials because he wants to sell the job to benefit himself. But then when it comes to the folks out in the field doing the work, it was just a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
had another
quite the
company.
opposite of just starting your own lawn care business for your own freedom. You know, you're kind of jumping to the
Right.
opposite end of the spectrum. Now you're just like if you were
Sure.
high up in corporate of anything else, you know, I guess, right? So,
And there was no freedom really. I mean, it was, you had someone to answer to for everything, and everything had, again, in a big company like that, everything's got its special little procedures and way to do things, and really, and I'm sure they're big for a reason, but from coming from where I was going to this business, it was way more, it didn't seem as efficient at all because there were so many extra hoops to jump through. So while it's obviously working for them, it just, I wasn't happy there at all.
I gotcha.
I ended up staying there for a couple of years and then took a position with another company. And then it was great. I had a lot of freedom. I was basically running a couple of mowing crews and just having a good time. But again, the kids were starting to get a little bit older. They're into
Mm-hmm.
sports, they're doing stuff. And it was just really, again, too many hours, just too much dedication to this thing that I'm helping this guy build for him. I've obviously got no stake in it, and I'm just, getting paid a salary and making him lots of money. And really, I got the same bug again. I couldn't continue making this money for him, and then, as well as the time. My wife's a teacher, so she has the summers off. Obviously, I've got the winters off up here. We can't do much in the winter. It gets pretty
Mm-hmm.
nasty. I
Mm-hmm.
used to plow snow, but not anymore. So it worked out great to where this was the right industry for me. It just, again, wasn't the right fit. So I went back
So,
on my own in
so what? One question, because to stop to make sure I had the story. What were you doing before you even started lawn care again? That you had left it, you know, for the freedom. What was the original job that you had before lawn care?
before. So it would have been high school.
Oh, I gotcha. So you started it right out of high school because I thought, like, what was the
Yeah, I
job that
think
you
I.
left for lawn care?
So I worked at a grocery store a little bit in high school, and
Mm-hmm.
then and probably like there was probably a span of maybe a year and a half between high school graduation and then starting it up. But for the most part, just like I said, I worked at a grocery store, some little stuff here and there. My stepdad was a contractor, a home builder, so I did a little bit of stuff for him, but not a whole lot. Right, I was young and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just hanging out, but it, again, all through that, it just wasn't. It never really felt right, so I had to go back and try it again. So I think 2015, I started my current business back and have been going ever since.
Oh, that's incredible. So that's really cool. So like what? So you want to continue on to your story? You want your kids are getting older. You want more freedom. Sorry, I stopped the story. Let me
Yeah, no, no, no,
get you
you're
back to
fine.
where you were at.
That was just one of the main driving factors, right? Obviously, the kids, they're only young ones, and I was just missing too much, right? It wasn't a 9 to 5 job. It was a 6 to whenever
Mm-hmm.
job. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times it was dark. If we got rain, it was Saturdays. I don't. There were a few Sundays, but that was very rare. But still, to not, to have young kids and to see them basically one day a week, and on that, also on that day that you have off, finally, you've got to do all the stuff around the house that needs done,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
not a great, I mean, a good experience. I learned a lot, but not a great quality of life. Not what I was looking for, at least.
Right. You still have to do errands and mow your own grass and do all those things,
Sure,
right? Yeah.
sure,
And not to mention that your family's, you know, not seeing you while you're out running around trying to put fires out for all the crews and stuff, right? So,
absolutely.
and what did you in the year 2000, what was the setup like that you started with? Because people love to hear about that. Like,
it was way different back then, right? So
mm-hmm.
the first setup, first starting out, with, I bought, so the local dealer in my area was a Cub Cadet dealer, and Cub Cadet had just come out with this Cub Cadet commercial line. So I bought it was a belt drive walk behind, um, with a Kawasaki engine. I don't, maybe like 15, 16 horsepower, probably.
Mm-hmm. Maybe 12
30
back then, you know?
could have been,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. just a little 36-inch walk behind with a sulky on the back was the mower, and then some kind of push mower at the time because a lot of in the area I was at the time there were a lot of small backyards and stuff you had to get in and push mow, and then Echo equipment. Back, do you remember the Echo blowers that had the tube on one side, but the throttle was like another stick on the left hand side?
They still have them like that now if you want them like that.
Is that
Red
right?
Max, all these companies make them, left-handed throttle if you want.
Gotcha.
And the Echoes used to be gray back then, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, they were great for sure.
So the orange Echo, that I don't know when that came about because I remember when I was a kid, the Echoes my dad had, he had Echo string trimmers and stuff, and they were
Yep.
completely gray.
Yeah, everything was great. Even they had the chainsaws back then; they were all gray. It was, and I liked it. Somewhere along the line, I got out of Echo and was kind of loyal to Steel for many, many years. And I think the Formic stuff is not my favorite. I don't really. The
Mm-hmm.
blowers are still great. I don't use the trimmers anymore. It's probably about 5 years now. I switched back to Echo, and I really love their new stuff.
So do you run the steel blowers still, or you switch to Echo blowers too?
I've got a mix of blowers for the most part. Honestly, what I've been using lately, just for like lawn maintenance for mowing, I don't have a ton of blowing to do. Just like a sidewalk or a driveway type thing, just
Mm-hmm.
clippings or maybe some clippings in the bed. I use the what I can't remember the model number, but it's an Echo battery powered, one of the 56-volt battery powered handheld blowers.
Oh wow.
I use that thing every day, and I just love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have one of the new line of the Echo battery blowers, or is it the old 58 volt? Because now they
No,
have
no,
the E-Force, so it's the E-Force one.
it's the
Uh,
E-Force, the
oh, I
56
gotcha.
volt.
So how are those? I've always been curious about that battery line. Are the batteries like pretty good durability and stuff like on the Echo line, or how's
Yeah,
that
I've
been like
had
experience with it?
no issues whatsoever. It's been nothing but great. Granted, the battery is heavy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty big battery, so they're kind of heavy. But um, I've never. If you do like a dozen yards, our yards are a little bit bigger around
Right,
here. The
right.
ones that I do, at least. So some people do 20, 25 yards in a day. I'm mowing as much, but fewer stops because they're an acre, acre and a half. Some even more.
I
Some
gotcha.
smaller, but I'll use that blower all day long and never run out of juice. But again, I'm not blowing leaves or anything like that. I'm just blowing up beds and blowing off concrete. But
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
works all day with no issues. While it is heavy, it's balanced really well. So that
I
weight is in a
gotcha.
spot on the blower to where it doesn't tip up like a lot of them do, and it's got the little turbo button on top. You don't really need it, but it's what's the common width of a concrete driveway? Maybe 16 feet or whatever, maybe 20 feet, whatever it is.
Yeah,
You can walk up one side and blow the stuff across the whole driveway with no issues. It's really great.
that's awesome. I don't know many people that run a lot of us are running battery stuff nowadays, but I don't know many people run the
Sure.
Echo one, and I think the Echo battery line is underrated. Just because of what it is. Like when I was at the expo and I tried the string trimmer, so it's a DSRM 2600. This is the one with the motor like back up by the battery, like the commercial one.
Yep.
Um, and that thing was amazing. Like it's so light. Like it looks like it's going to be heavy, but that thing actually was pretty awesome. I
Yeah.
know
They're
some people don't like the cheaper one, like where the motor's down on the head, but
right.
the commercial one, that people do like that one. And I know probably still, but for a number of years, I mean, you could pick up those, the 5 amp hour batteries like on eBay left and right for very good
Sure.
price. Is that the battery you're running? Is it a 5 amp hour? I think the bigger one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the 5 amp hour. Yep. And I'll tell you what, honestly, we have at least our local Echo dealer. They've got like 2 days a year where they'll do like this field event, and they have a
Mm-hmm.
15% off Echo sale. And honestly, the price of the batteries, I'll just go and pick up. Like I think I got like the hedge trimmer last time because the cost of a battery versus the hedge trimmer that comes with the battery, it was
Right, right.
maybe it wasn't a huge difference, right? So I'll just grab another tool and get another battery with it, and the whole lineup has just been great. And I have tried both of those Echo trimmers, the one with the motor down towards the head. I didn't like that at all. It was just really awkward, the weight out there on the end. I just couldn't get used to it. The other one's fantastic. I haven't tried I tried a DeWalt trimmer. I didn't like that either.
So do you have the DSRM, the 2600 with the commercial one? Do you have that?
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's really good. And another thing, the battery life with that is great. I mean, we do a lot of trimming, but still with 2 batteries, I can go all day with that thing.
Now, do you have the one that's like a PAS, or just like the straight dedicated trimmer?
No, it's just the dedicated trimmer. I probably should get that other one. The issue is I've got the Echo gas powered one in the steel and all the attachments for that, and then I recently bought the whole ecosystem as well. So I don't know if I'll go with that one as well. It's just too many of the same thing.
Well, the Echo attachments should all fit on there that you already have.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yes, they don't have like special ones for the battery line, like the PAS, whatever it's called. Maybe it's a, I don't know, DSRM PAS, whatever it is.
Right.
They just run the regular Echo PAS attachment. So if you bought that unit, you should be able to run every Echo attachment you already have on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's good to know. Maybe that'll probably be the next thing I grab now.
Yeah.
I'm really liking this stuff quite a bit. I mean, for the most part, I don't touch any kind of gas powered, handheld equipment at all throughout the day anymore. I do. It depends on. We do have some yards where I know I'm going to be doing a lot of trimming, or if it's a little bit. There's no lack of power with the battery powered for sure. They're not going to go at that power for quite as long. So I can't say it never happens, but for the most part, when it's especially summertime, it's just battery all the way, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah. I mean,
I was one of those people that was against it for the longest time, but once I actually tried it, I was wrong.
Wow, that's cool to know. It's really cool to hear someone because I had no idea that you had the Echo line, because that's always been an interest to me, because see, like that string trimmer and stuff, it kind of competes with like the Husqvarna commercial one, and like some of the steel battery line, and but for whatever reason the Echo one, like for example the DSRM, like I like to, when I talk about things, I like to not be vague, with people listening. So like the DSRM 2600, the dedicated trimmer like yours, like you can buy it online all day for $3.99.
Yep.
With the battery, with the charger, and that commercial, dedicated trimmer, not the PAS, because day-to-day trimming, I prefer to not use, like a combi connection type unit. You know what I'm saying?
Same, yeah.
I mean, you can if you have to, if that's what you have, but like, I don't know what it is about it, but like of any brand, like I like the dedicated one, just from yard to yard to yard, trimming, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And so, yeah, so like I said, $3.99. Whereas if you look at like, let's say the steel, whatever their one is called, I know the KMA, I think, is the combi one that's for battery, but whatever the one, even if it was a dedicated one, like it would easily be $400 with no battery, no charger. See what I'm saying? Same with like the Husqvarna 525 ILST, which I do really like that trimmer as well. The Echo one and that Husqvarna one were my 2 favorite battery trimmers that I used. But like I said, I mean, if you consider that it comes with a 5 amp hour battery and a charger, it's almost like the Echo one is half as much as the other 2 brands, because they give you battery and, you know what I'm saying, charger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I haven't tried the steel, to be fair. But I mean, I've been so happy with the Echo. I don't have any reason to try anything else. Although I just bought all the Ego stuff because I was really curious about that. But yeah, I mean, it's much cheaper than the steel, obviously, as well. But yeah.
So tell us about the Ego line, because How did you just decide randomly to buy a whole line of the Ego? Like, what did you buy?
Well, so we recently bought a new camper and we got a permanent site for it. So it's got a small yard there that obviously I have to maintain. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted something to cut the grass there, and I went, just to Lowe's looking around, and I found the Ego push mower.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the guy in the lawn and garden department there, he said, "Hey, I've got that thing already." And then he started telling me about the other stuff. So I actually purchased the push mower, and then I bought
Is it
the
self-propelled?
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
there's I think three. They had three different models there, and I
mm-hmm.
got the middle one for whatever.
I
The
gotcha.
most expensive one had a small difference. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't something that I felt like I needed.
Maybe
So
it had two blades instead of one or something.
that's exactly what it was. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. It had like an X blade instead of just one single blade.
I
So I went
gotcha.
with the middle one with that, and then the edger. So it came with like a PAS system type, like the power head. That in order to get that, you bought it with the edger attachment. So I
Okay,
bought that,
okay.
and then I bought the pole saw and the just the string trimmer to
Oh, I
go with
gotcha.
that. So yeah.
So you
Oh,
drop you
and
dropped some money
handheld
that day
blower.
at Lowe's.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I got the push mower. I got the PAS, whatever they call Ego calls it,
Mm-hmm.
with the edger attachment, the string trimmer attachment, the pole saw, and then I got a small handheld blower. And it was maybe like $1,200, 1,250.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, not too bad. And the mower works great. I've never used a battery powered. I've used an electric one way back in the day, but this was
Mm-hmm.
my first experience with a battery powered push mower, and it's awesome. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. I have like kind of one of the kind of higher end ones like that, the Ryobi one. Um,
Okay.
and it's similar, like plastic deck, all that, but it's sweet. It has all these lights on it, and it's really quiet, and self propel is great. I mean, obviously I can't run my whole business with a 21 just like you,
Right.
but
Right.
it is probably the funnest mower to use of any mower that that I have. Like it's something about it's so nice. Like you noticed that moment with yours, like it's just real quiet. Kids can
It's
be
so
playing over
quiet.
there, 20 feet away, and it's fine. And I'm just mowing back and forth. And if you want to stop and talk for a minute, just let go of the handle and it turns off, and you
Yeah.
just keep on mowing,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. And you're not the main thing for me is with it, being at the campground there, I don't have to store gas there. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't get used a ton, so I don't have to pull and pull and pull to get it going. It's just
Right.
pop the battery in and off you go. And it's so easy.
And so that's why you went with um, the Ego string trimmer and stuff, just so you didn't have to bring your other one from home and do that, right?
Yeah, just so it can be there. And again, with them being the attachments and then the power head, I mean, each piece is probably 3 feet long or less. So they can go right up in the little
Yeah.
storage compartment,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
camper, and, everything. It's just so easy. They've really come a long way with this stuff. And I can't, and I would have never considered this stuff, but watching your videos for so long, you've been trying all these different things. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I did because man, it's really a game changer. It just mowing throughout the day. It's so nice to just instead of throwing that big backpack on your back just to blow off a driveway,
Right.
you
Right.
just pick it up and you're going. You just pick it up and push a button. It's so much easier.
And I also like on these push mowers, like it might look goofy, but I actually like that it's a plastic deck because it makes it. I'm assuming yours is probably plastic deck too,
I
but
think it is.
or it might be some fancy material, but it's like plastic, and it just makes it so lightweight. Like even compared to a
Sure.
gas push mower, like that push mower is gonna be. At least it feels very light. Like when you're using it, it feels like you're not even like you know using anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
um,
even when you push it without the self propel, it just pushes so smooth.
mm-hmm.
And then the handles. I don't know about yours, but um, and maybe push motors do this now. It's been a long time since I used one, but the
Right.
handle telescopes up and down, so you can set it at different heights. So if
Yeah.
you're a little
Yeah.
shorter or you're a little taller, it's just so convenient, so nice and easy.
Yeah. That's
And honestly, the price really isn't that much different.
right. It's
I
not.
looked at
Yeah.
some gas push motors versus the battery, and they're about the same price.
Yeah. Because even a homeowner like a residential gas mower, let's say you're going with a little Toro recycler or whatever,
Sure.
those things are $500 to $800 nowadays anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so like even just for the basic, model with some little Briggs engine on it, it's not the best, but it's that's what you're going to pay nowadays anyway. So you might as well just spend that $500 and get you like you did, get a little Ego one or Ryobi one or whatever. They're kind of just competitors because I think uh, they're building them like in that similar like segment competitors like Ryobi, Ego, but since Ego's no longer at Home Depot, now Home Depot has all these Ryobi ones that are kind of high end that sort of compete with Ego. I don't know why.
Sure.
Maybe because Ego at first was like a Home Depot exclusive thing, and then I don't know exactly how that deal went down, but somehow they broke off the relationship or whatever, and then they were in limbo a little bit, and then they like went uh, hard in with Lowe's. But now, Ryobi has all these ones that spec wise kind of compete with all the Ego ones. Even for like battery zero turns and like all that, and all the tools and the blowers and everything.
Sure.
Um, so that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that is why maybe they broke the deal because they were starting to develop their own that was like similar power, and all that stuff. I don't really know. That'd be fascinating to know all that, but it's like you're saying, the battery stuff is crazy. Even residential stuff, like you're saying, like the Ego one or the Ryobi one, it is
Hmm.
impressive how good it was. If you think about even when I was a
Sure.
kid, which I'm not as old as you, anything electric was just like total
Oh yeah.
garbage. You know
Sure.
what I mean? uh, maybe you had to like, you know, plug in like a extension cord and like pull out in the yard. People are doing that stuff. But
Yeah. You bet.
uh, but like the stuff like you're saying now, like man, even for commercial use, just like you're saying, like maybe it's not good for like doing leaf cleanups all day, but the for blowing off driveways, even commercially and doing the string trimming and stuff, it's crazy that almost any of these brands, has something that's almost just as capable, as a gas. You know what I mean? So
And honestly, sometimes, I mean, you would have to look at the specs, but just by feeling, by using it, sometimes even more capable. It seems like this Ego Edger. I tried it out. Picked up a new lawn a couple weeks ago, and I brought that edger to. The edges
mhm,
were kind of
mhm,
overgrown over the sidewalk in the driveway, and it just zipped right through with no
mhm,
issues
mhm.
whatsoever. I will say it did use quite a bit of battery doing that
I
with
gotcha.
the edge,
Yep.
but it worked so great. And if if you didn't need to use it all day long, or you had a couple of batteries, it's a really, really capable edger. I mean, I really liked
Mhm,
it. And the
mhm.
fact that
Absolutely.
the ergonomics of it feel better than the Echo one that I use. It was really great. I really enjoy using it. I haven't found, I have had some, I've tried several handheld blowers, and there are some that aren't great.
Right.
but
Right.
but I mean, the Echo just blows them all away. I mean, no pun intended, but
And
it,
the Ego one, you saying you like that? Because I know they have several models in the Ego lineup, all the way up to
the
like,
one I got is a 530 CFM.
uh-huh.
I don't I don't know where it falls in the lineup, but it's okay. It would do great. I think it would be more suited for like if you needed to blow out the garage, or
Mhm,
blow
mhm.
off the deck or something like that. As far as like wet grass off the driveway, it's not great. And
Which
it
they
doesn't
do. I
have
think
like
that's actually kind of on the. I think they have two or three models above that in the Ego
sure,
line. They go up to like 730, 765 CFM. I believe the Ryobi one is 730 and the Ego one is 765. You know how like they don't make things exactly the same, but
sure,
um, so, but obviously, just like with any of the brands, that's with the turbo button on, and that's not really,
right.
you know, everyday usable power. I mean, you could for a second, but you're saying that your Echo battery blower is way better, you think, than the Ego one that you have?
Oh, it's there's no question. It's not even close.
I gotcha. Well, this is the with battery equipment kind of the ultimate uh, kind of battle that goes on with these brands because um, let's say Steel, Husqvarna, Echo. Well, they all those companies really know how to make an excellent tool. But
Sure.
then, but then if you think of, you know, Chevron, Techron Industries that makes Ego and all these ones, Milwaukee, you know, Ryobi, whatever it is, over on that side, Ego, those all come from drills and stuff, and so
Yes.
they're really good at producing a battery for a way less cost that's way sufficient power, and sometimes will even outlast some of the ones of the tool brands. So that's kind of like the battle. It's like a Milwaukee or Ego battery, you can get them for less cost, and you can possibly be lighter and more capacity than you know Echo, Steel, Husqvarna. But like
Right.
usually the tools themselves, because you know all these companies on the gas side, they know how to make a good tool. See what I mean? Like the tool part. Um,
Right.
and then, but the battery technology is usually better, even on Ego, you know, Milwaukee, right? Like for example, like they have chargers that are like even on the Ego side, they have a charger that can probably charge. If you look at the amps and like how it goes through cooling the battery and stuff, their chargers are way more advanced than the ones that they offer, like for your Echo E series or you know
Yes.
E Force,
Yeah.
whatever you call it. Like it's even like the Ryobi one, like they'll have ones that are a rapid charge, but they're 6 bay, you know, and like all
Yep.
this, you know, and that's you know Ryobi's kind of like a you know like a kind of a low end brand, you know, as people see it, you know, it's like a Home Depot brand or whatever. But
Sure.
so that is something that's always interesting in my mind that it's like even these other companies, you know, they're more expensive and like their chargers and stuff are way behind even, you know, a Ego or any of these drill company ones, DeWalt, you know, whatever. All those ones have usually better chargers and sometimes, you know, easier to less expensive to get the batteries and stuff, but the tools themselves is better over on you know Steel, Husqvarna, Echo. So that's like it's kind of like that battle. Like, uh, you know, like I for 5 seasons now I abused the Milwaukee line of all the trimmers and stuff, which I love that trimmer. Um,
Sure.
but I don't. It doesn't feel quite as professional, you know, like as the one you have the Echo one or the Husqvarna or the Steel. Because like I said, it's in that same battle again. It's like the three companies, their battery line, like the tools themselves feel more professional, but maybe they're behind on like the batteries and the charger part. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, for sure. You hit the nail on the head with that. But I will say that some of them, like I've got the DeWalt hedge trimmer, and I love it for small jobs. It's so light. It's very, and I've had the Milwaukee as well. I really like that one too.
mm-hmm.
But just you can tell it's not as well built as say the Echo one,
Right.
but because of that, it's so extremely light. And if you're up over your head for a couple hours trimming
Mm-hmm.
hedges, it's
Mm-hmm.
nice if you have the battery. And I've been in the DeWalt system forever, so I've got dozens of DeWalt batteries. So it just made sense for me. But I mean, I've really enjoyed that quite a bit. Whereas the blower I've got, it's not great. I tried a weed eater, I didn't buy it, but I didn't like that either. But the
So do you
hedge
have a
trimmers,
DeWalt blower too?
I have a DeWalt blower. It's just a handheld, whatever it takes the 20-volt batteries. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the
Mm-hmm.
whatever the bigger size
Right.
one.
They got this new like a Flex Volt or something like that.
Yes.
And that looks like it would be pretty decent as well. But like you're saying, it seems like all the because I like DeWalt. You know, I'm not really partial to any brand. Like I like the DeWalt brand, but it seems like the DeWalt string trimmers are kind of funky. Like all the models of the ones they have. You
The
know.
only one I tried was terribly funky. I didn't like the feeling of it was way off. But as far as tools for working around the house or whatever, just regular power tools, I've got all the DeWalt stuff, so I've got a bunch of batteries. So it made sense, for me to try some of that stuff. The battery works great. Again, I'm sorry, the blower. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how many CFM that blower is, but not a lot. It would be good for, small tasks, but it's not great for wet grass at all. But the hedge trimmer is really nice.
And so you're saying that the Ego one, even not with the turbo button or whatever, you're saying it just outblows your Ego one or whatever. Like if you're just using it on the driveway, that's even kind of a big driveway. You know what I mean? Like you're saying it just the tool itself, it just performs better.
You're talking about the Echo
Uh
performs
huh.
better? So much better. It's like they're not even the same. They're not in the same league whatsoever. But again, I'm not sure how many CFM the Echo. The one I have is the DPB 2500, I think.
Uh huh. That sounds
So
right. Yep. I think that
and I
might.
don't know what CFM.
I think Echo only has the one handheld blower, like in the E-Force line or whatever. I think that's it. I
Okay.
think they only have one.
Yeah, there's definitely a noticeable difference in, not that the Ego won't do it. You're just going to take twice as long to do it with the Ego. You know, instead of just walking at your normal walking pace up a driveway, you might have to stop for a second and kind of wave it back and forth, or take your foot and kind of nut some wet grass. Where the Echo, there's none of that. You just walk however fast you want, and you know, you do use the turbo button from time to time as you need a little bit more, but
Right, right. If you get a little
it's the
stuck clump or something, you could hit the turbo button
sure.
for a second. Yeah, and the
But I really would compare the feel of the power to like the steel, like the BG50, I think, like the small. It has every bit as much power as that. At least it feels like it.
I gotcha. Yeah, and the Echo, the one you have, like even the tube itself is going to be pretty big, if I remember correctly on that. The
It
B.
is. It is.
So that helps, because that's where your CFM, that's like how that works. And then,
Right.
and you're not having to deal with a little gas handheld blower. It's vibrating in your hand and smoke and all that stuff. Um, so man, that's incredible. I'm so glad to know someone that has that Echo line, because it's always been tempting. Because like I said, of the three major commercial brands, it's almost like half the price of the other ones, and they still, Echo's a great company. I have, just like all of us, I have several things in the Echo line, and
Sure.
even the big chainsaw, I bought one for my dad for Christmas, the CS 590. It's a 59cc, one of the bigger saws, Timberwolf, whatever it is, and
Yep.
that thing is bad to the bone.
Oh yeah.
And then I've had the 2620 trimmer and the Echo 8010.
Sure.
Several Echo things, and even just in my collection now, I have a couple of those 2320T. Like it looks like just the regular 225, but it has like a chrome line cylinder, and then it has like a high, like a torque gear head on the end.
Yep.
So it's a little different than 225, but it looks just like like the Home Depot 225 kind of, and really enjoy that trimmer as well. The trigger is kind of hard to pull on that one, but anyway, I really will consider again that the Echo setup that you have, that commercial trimmer, and then handheld blower, and then they just
You
came
won't
out.
be disappointed.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just said you won't be disappointed. I was really surprised by it.
And do you have the rapid charger, or you just have like the basic one? They only have, I think, two chargers, but
I don't have the rapid charger yet. It's kind of like it says rapid charger on it. Okay. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, doesn't seem any faster than the other, to be honest. I could be wrong,
so you have
but
both of them, you're saying?
yeah, one of the tools I bought just came with the regular charger, and then one it's just like a big orange block, and it's
Yeah, I know what it looks like. Yep.
it does say rapid charger on it. To be totally honest, I don't notice a huge difference. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to that, to be fair.
Well, if you look at the little sticker label on the bottom, it should say how many amps, like the output, how many amps are on the output, and that that would tell you, like how fast it would really be. If it's putting out more watts, then obviously that's more power to the battery. Because but if it's not noticeable difference, because I know they only they don't. I know Echo, they don't have no dual charger. I haven't seen anything like that. They just have the
I
two,
haven't seen it either.
and they have that backpack blower too, which Milwaukee, all these companies are starting to make them, but it's similar power as like the handheld. It's just you can put more batteries on your back and do that.
Right. I just don't know that. I don't know that that's for me yet. I mean,
Right.
this is like when I had Equip this year. It just seems like anytime anymore. Like I said, I'm using this handheld blower the majority of the time for day-to-day use. I feel like for cleanups, while I think that blower takes two of those 56-volt
I think it
batteries, the
takes
5 amp.
three actually.
Does it take three?
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like, when you're trying to blow wet leaves, like when we do leaf cleanups here in the fall, stuff's wet. It's stuck to the ground for the most
Yeah.
part.
Right.
And I just don't know that
You're
it's
gonna
going to make,
you're gonna burn
you're
through
going
those
to need more
batteries
batteries.
really fast. Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
And so
So
that,
I just don't know that one per se, or really, I haven't tried the. I mean, the Crest stuff looks super impressive. I know the
mm-hmm.
price is as well. So I'm probably going to wait. I would love to try them, but as far as purchasing that whole system to what do they say? 8 minutes, I think you can charge those batteries up.
Yep.
But again, getting into that system is quite a expense. So
It's
I think
insane what it costs.
it, it
Um,
is.
and then the problem, I have several friends and even people who listen to this that do stuff with Crest and all that. But the thing is, for me, is that I don't really like how the Crest tools themselves feel. Like I don't know if you've used them at the Expo. They had a huge
I
setup there
haven't.
last time. Um, they just don't. It's not nearly as ergonomic and like comfortable to use as what you're using now, if that makes sense. Now,
Right.
they're heavier. The batteries are heavier. Now, it is cool. The battery technology. We have to be
Yeah,
fair.
for
That like
sure.
nobody else can do that. And the 8 minute, that's if you have the cyber tank.
Right. Right. That's
If
what I
you
mean. To get into that, it's so expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's like I don't know, 10, 13 grand or whatever for that cyber tank thing that goes in your trailer.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then, but if you have the charger, it's kind of a big charger. It looks like a small cooler, kind of looking charger they have on the Crest, and
Yep.
that's I think maybe a 30 amp charger or something, and that can still charge the batteries in like 12 or 15 minutes. Um, so that was, that still is a little tempting to me because it can still, even without the cyber tank, like if you get that 30 amp charger, it's a big, it looks kind of like a small cooler or like a big Bluetooth speaker kind of look. Like it's 6 times the size of your Echo charger. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Sure. Sure.
and it has like a big old wire, like where it plugs in, like
Right.
um, so it draws some power. But like that thing, even if you have that, you can still charge up quickly with that. Like I said, 12 or 15 minutes. Um,
Yeah, that's quick.
but it's $800 just for that charger. You know what I mean?
Right.
um,
Right.
so yeah, and like every battery is like $500. Like
Yeah.
uh, I mean, yes, they have the great warranty and 3,000 cycles and all that. But it's just so hard because even if you didn't get the cyber tank, you just get a string trimmer and a blower, a few batteries. I mean, you're going to be 3-4 grand in that thing. Um,
Right.
and then, and I'm not just making this up, I'm not just hating on it for guys out there because I've literally called multiple dealers and priced it and went through all the stuff, like, because I was really, really considering it. But it's like, you know, if you can buy 10 of the, of like competitors' batteries, like,
Right.
is that warranty really worth that price? Like I feel like that is what's holding. Like I do not see a lot of people buying the $4,000 or $5,000 setup. I do not see many people buying it. um and I don't work with anyone on this podcast, so like I can tell it straight truth, but I believe like it, I just price wise, I don't they're not competitive with all the other brands out there. um and so I believe that is
Not at all.
hurting them. Yeah. What were you saying?
I think it's probably like everything else, though, right? Like it's new technology.
Mm-hmm.
In a
Mm-hmm.
couple of years, I'm sure the price will be, well, hopefully, depending on how things go. But I would assume that the price will decrease as time goes by, and it becomes more common, and they're selling more of them. But for now, it's just not. It just doesn't make sense for me. I mean, not to say it's not for some people. It's just not for me yet. For me, it's going to be, I'll keep using the battery stuff as I can, and when I need something with a little more power or to last longer, I'll just go back to the gas stuff. I still got it
Mm-hmm.
all; it
Mm-hmm.
still works great. It's just such an investment that, and I love to buy this stuff, but I'm also at some point you have to draw a line.
Right. Well, I'm just saying I don't. They talk about how they can lead the charge from gas to electric and all this stuff, but like if let's say a guy right now, just like your average, guy that me and you see, just random lawn contractor that's at the expo, like, and he's running gas equipment right now, and you tell him, hey, I can give you this handheld blower and this string trimmer that the ergonomics doesn't feel good in your hand, and you can get this setup for even well, if you get the cyber tank, it'll be 15 grand for all this stuff. Or if you don't get the cyber tank, it's still going to be 4 grand. Like that guy, he is not going to like buy into that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Oh,
no
no
way.
chance.
There's no way that that is going to work. Like
No,
marketing
not when you can
wise.
buy six of his, whatever he's using now, gas blowers for the same price as one of those. It's not. It's going to be a tough sale.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, like you mentioned earlier. So I hope their marketing, and I hope that I hope that they do continue to succeed and are able to make this work, because I that battery technology is something that no one else has. Um,
Sure.
but I just don't know. Like if it was half as much as it is, and they're, let's say it's half, it was, let's say instead of 4 grand it was 2 grand to get the whole setup. Well,
Right.
then it becomes a little more. Then they can compete with the other battery brands pricing, but they have a way better battery. And even if the tool is a little less ergonomic, see, then I feel like, man, now it's, a force to be reckoned with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely in the conversation at that point. The one nice thing I will say, it seems as if the company is open to, they're working with a lot of people. I see them everywhere. They're always putting their tools in people's hands and letting them try it, and they seem to be receptive to hearing feedback, right? So hopefully
Mm-hmm.
these
Mm-hmm.
ergonomic issues and things like that, I'm sure they'd be willing to address those, as new models come out, stuff like that.
Well, and then here's the other thing that they uh, basically, so if you think about a cell phone battery, you think about, I raced RC cars for a lot of years, and a lithium RC battery, it's like cells that are like sheets. They're like like a cell phone battery is like a sheet that's in there. And right
Okay.
now, all the Milwaukee, Ego, Echo, I don't care what you name the brand, it's like it sells like C batteries. You know what I mean? Like all in series together, or
Sure.
um, so Crest is using some this other technology that has kind of this sheet type setup, and so they're able to cool down faster and be more efficient. All these things like a cell phone battery. But here's the thing: as years go on, I believe that all these battery companies will start to convert to this sheet battery setup. For an example, you can go on Google right now and type in Milwaukee Forge, and Milwaukee has developed a battery that's like that, the sheet thing. They already have it in a 6 amp hour that's made like for drills and smaller stuff and all that. But the Milwaukee person, I seen them at a trade show earlier this year, and they said the 8 and the 12 amp hour Milwaukee Forge battery is coming out. And so, again, that'll be another brand that comes on the market with a similar. I mean, there may be some still differences, but it's going to be more closer to a Crest battery. Does that make sense? Even in the
Sure.
Milwaukee line, and that's coming. They'll they'll probably have that at their booth. I'm guessing Milwaukee at the expo. And so now, and I believe all the companies are going to start following suit. It's just how the battery technology is kind of moving forward.
Right.
And so I believe, I'm thinking that the other companies, there's going to start to be some competitors with really good batteries like the Crest, like that are coming. They're already starting. Like I said, by the end of this year, they're supposed to have a Milwaukee battery that's a it's a forge. That's what they call it, forge or whatever. But it's like it can charge twice as fast and only gets half as hot, and and all these things. Um, and so I believe that, yeah, Crest, maybe they're leading in that right now for the outdoor power equipment. But I believe all these companies, and even if you think of just like your everyday batteries, like for drills and stuff, they're all gonna, I believe, convert to this kind of sheet lithium setup. Um,
Yeah, I know DeWalt's done. They've got some kind of new battery. I don't remember what it's called. One of the last tools I bought came with it, but it's much smaller than even like the 2 amp hour battery, but has like the power of a 5 amp hour or something. Is the way
mm-hmm,
the guy
mm-hmm.
explained it to me. But and I can't remember what that technology is called. But yeah, I'm sure as this battery powered tools and outdoor tools and things becomes more popular, the technology is just going to get better and better and better, and hopefully like everything else, eventually the price should become somewhat, stable, at a lower price point, especially the Crest stuff that so seems out of reach for most people at this point. I would hope that it comes down to, a more reasonable level at some point. Obviously, they've spent so much, all these years researching and developing these products, they've got to make some money back. But
right. Well, I want to hear your thoughts about it when we get to the expo this year. I want you to, because you're familiar with the Echo line and stuff. So I mean, you don't have to tell me on the podcast, but I mean, I curious to know your thoughts about how you feel, because you're already used to using battery products. So I'd like to hear your thoughts about it, about about how it feels to you. And I'm assuming Wednesday night we're probably going to do that same Mexican restaurant meetup thing.
Okay.
So again, I'll keep you, in on all that. Also, tomorrow is the last day to sign up before the price goes up to that next tier for the expo, too. So that's another thing that's going to be happening tomorrow, guys. Or, I'm sorry, tomorrow as we're recording this, I might put this out tomorrow, so then it'll be the last day as you're hearing this. So get signed up for the expo, guys.
For sure.
Anyway, saying my segment is going to be running out here. But so when you started, what, if you're fine with talking about this, tell us what your setup was when you started, truck wise, because that would be just curious, just to paint the picture in our head, what trailer did you have a trailer? Was it just, you said you bought that Cub Cadet,
Yeah.
Cub Cadet, walk behind mower with the sulky.
Yep.
And then, so did you pull on a trailer or what,
Yeah, so first starting out, I used the truck that I had at the time. It was would have been a 90 something, the second gen Dodge Ram.
Oh, wow.
3/4 regular cab, just a 8-foot bed. And I actually bought, and again, I was fresh to this stuff. I didn't know where to go to buy trailers, stuff like that. I went to, it was one of the big box stores like Lowe's, Home Depot. They had, they have the trailers kind of parked in the parking lot on the side. I bought a small trailer from them. I think it was like a 6x10, maybe single axle trailer. And I put the old walk behind on there, and we were going at it, and quickly needed more equipment, very soon. And I had to learn fast, but that's what I started with, just a pickup truck, a small trailer, and a belt drive 36-inch walk behind.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So what truck do you rock with now as we wrap this up? Because we got way more we want to talk about, but I don't want to hold you up more of your night and all that kind of thing.
Currently, I've got a few, but the one I drive most every day is a Chevy Silverado,
nice.
half-ton Active 1500. I love it. I keep making decisions that to a younger person in the business, or to some of these guys that, other companies I see, they've got these big diesel trucks and stuff like that. And I love them, and I have nice trucks, and I always have. Even this one's very nice. It's an LTZ, but I found over the years that the 1-ton trucks, the 3/4-ton trucks, while I do recommend them, they're great. They'll pull anything. But for my setup and what I'm currently using, I don't have the need for that. So like the other Chevy truck I have, it's a 3/4-ton. It has a 6-liter engine. I get about 10 miles to the gallon in it versus 18 in this other one. So sure, it's cool, but when it comes to the bottom line and how much profit you're bringing in, I've finally gotten to the point where I can let cool go and get what makes me more money. And that, honestly, that was tough to do throughout, because everybody wants the coolest, fanciest, nicest, biggest. And it's not always the best for your business. Well, although it is cool. Like, for example, the trailer I'm currently using every day.
Okay, now we're back recording. So, sorry about that, guys. We had to, which they won't even know. It'll just be kind of like, it'll be just like one. So tell us about your trailer setup of what trailers you had. So Chevy 1500, what year? What year are you rocking with right now?
That one is a 16.
Oh, I gotcha. So that thing's nice. What color?
It's like a hunter green, I guess. Like a real
nice.
dark green.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
those.
it's nice, but it just makes sense. The half ton truck works. It gets much better gas mileage, pulls everything I need it to just fine, and I don't have the added fuel expense and things like that I do
And
in the bigger trucks.
and it's going to be a little bit more comfortable just as you're
Oh,
driving
it's
around, you
definitely
know.
much more. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely much more comfortable, but it's taken a lot of years to get to that point where I was okay with it. Like I was trying to tell you about the trailer now is the one that I use every day. I think it's a 6.5 by 14, so it's big enough to put two riders or two stand-on mowers or one of each. But being just a single axle trailer, I've always had tandem axle trailers. That's what
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants.
Oh yeah.
But I have when it comes time to do brakes or to do tires or to grease bearings or to replace hubs, it's literally half as much because I have half as many tires and half as many axles. So things like that it seems like, to a lot of guys I talk to and stuff like that, oh, you're just running. Well, yeah, I am, but not out of necessity. Like it was a choice. It was a conscious choice to become more efficient and to be more economical. These things are cool, but are you making more money with that than you would be with this? Are you saving more because you're only spending half as much on maintenance? So things like that I think about now, all these little changes, they add up.
Absolutely. And when you're starting business or whatever, like you're saying, it can be like even me, my first couple years in business, I had an F-250 they bought and a tandem axle big enclosed trailer, and you,
Yeah,
you just
right.
you just feel like, man, like I'm big business, like I'm the man, right? Because I have like this big
Right.
trailer and everything. But
Yeah.
then, but now, now I'm making twice as much, and I just have a little 10-foot aluminum single axle little trailer. You know what I mean?
Right,
um,
right. That's the cheat code that we figured out, and I think everyone gets there. But and don't get me wrong, I still look at those and I'm like, wow, that's really nice. I love it.
mm-hmm.
But I've learned, it's not save the nice stuff for when you're out with your family. This is the work truck, right? I'm just trying
Mm-hmm.
to get
Mm-hmm.
the job done and get back home.
Right. Absolutely. And so you used to run big trailers, open or like enclosed?
I've never had an enclosed trailer. Always open trailers. I've always wanted one, but the price again the price has gone so crazy on those. It's just
Mm-hmm.
and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense to me. I don't need it. I've got plenty of room to keep everything. I don't need to use it for storage. It would be more convenient at times for sure, and I love the idea of like a rolling billboard type on the side, but
Mm-hmm.
no, always open trailers.
I gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I'm running an open trailer now, and it's good. Um, and so you told us, well, we haven't went. You've had a lot of mowers in between that, but let's go ahead and talk about this new one that you just bought. So let's talk about that before we wrap this up.
Yeah, so I just bought I think you have one. I texted
Mm-hmm.
you to see how you liked it. It's a SCAG Patriot. It's a 52 with the Kawasaki engine, and it's been great. I've only owned one other SCAG in all these years, and it was a 48-inch walk behind with the pull start way back in the day.
Yeah,
Um,
those were tanks as well.
they were for sure, and that thing's still probably running for somebody
Was
somewhere.
it like a
But
fixed deck or what was it?
oh yeah, yeah,
Oh man,
yeah,
those.
for
Yeah,
sure.
my dad had some of those. Like you're saying, those. Man, you gotta you gotta condition your hands like squeezing those. You know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
did.
And there, I don't
Yeah,
think you can ever condition your hands. Like even if you're used to it, like even my dad, he used to, back in the day, zero turns and stuff. It wasn't really like a thing. Like everyone just had these walk behinds, and
yes,
and man, you with that pistol grip belt drive scag, you go mow about 10 lawns with that. Whoo! And your
yeah.
hands, yeah, like.
Yeah, you know at the end of the day, that's for sure.
And
Things have
man,
definitely come
like
up.
think about how hard it was then. Just like if you need to change the height of cut, like you got to pick up that whole heavy thing, and then you got to move them
Yeah,
spacers, right, and then get
yeah,
grease all
yeah.
over you, and then all that.
Everything.
So,
Yeah, yeah. It was not fun for sure. Things have come a long way as far as that's concerned, but yeah, yeah. So another stag, I love it. It's great, and like I texted you, I finally gotten to the point that the last 4 times I bought new mowers, which I know how you kind of buy stuff here and there, and I do the same, but
hmm
the last ones, thanks to you and people like you kind of drilling it into my head, I've paid cash. We have no debt in the business
nice,
whatsoever. Nothing has a payment at all. So
amen.
yeah, it's great. And I got, you're a big part of that. So I'm glad that I finally broke free of that too. But yeah, I guess I look for those things now. I look for ways to save money and be more profitable rather than looking cool and, you
Well,
know.
and you simply get a better deal for the mower if you're willing to pay cash for it, you know?
Oh,
Like,
100%. Even with 0%, I looked at, a couple other things this time. There was no chance that I was going to finance a mower, but I still looked. I don't plan to ever do that again. But even with this same mower with 0% for 48 months, I still paid $1,600 more by financing it at 0%. It was still
wow.
1,600 more in finance fees and charges and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Yep.
so just because it says 0% does not mean you're paying the same price that you're paying if you pay cash.
Right,
It's
right. Because there's some other little fees and things in there that are kind of you don't know about, or and
sure.
and not to mention then you have all those years of like keeping up with that bill every month, and then if you go, one payment late on that thing, boom, the whole thing backlogs up to 20% or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah, you bet.
so it's pretty crazy. Just yeah, save up your money, pay cash for stuff. Dead is dumb,
Oh,
cash is king. And now that you own the mower, I mean, money you
that's,
make with it, like it's just money, then. So,
well, and that's the thing. And that's why once you do it, if you can do it one time, if you can save up and do this one time, you'll
mm-hmm.
never have to finance again because the money that you would have spent on a payment, you can just put in the bank. And then when it comes time for another mower or whatever else you may need, you've got that money rather
Mm-hmm.
than spreading it out month
Yes.
by month. That money's sitting there waiting for you to use for whatever you need. You just have to, you have to be able to do it that first time, save up, whatever you got to do to make it work. But after that, it's easy. There's nothing to it anymore.
I agree
If you get
100%.
good enough to save money, that's the only,
Yes.
as long as you can keep that money in the bank and save it and not blowing it on something else,
Right.
just realize that this is earmarked for the next mower. If I were making a payment, I would put this much to them every month, so I'll put that much in the bank.
Mm-hmm. And so let's talk about, yeah, I agree 100%. I think anyone starting your business out there, and what he was just saying is, that's what you're just explaining is people might listen and be like, oh, how am I going to save up 10 grand for a mower, right? Um,
Sure.
but I say if you're starting your business right now, you don't have a lot of customers, you have limited funds, all that, go out, buy you a used hydro walk behind, 1,500, 2,000 bucks,
Sure.
and that's how you do it. That's exactly how I did it, and that's how I, use that thing for a few years, save up your money, and
Right.
then you can move into a $3,000 mower, and then a $5,000 mower, and then because you can still get a lot of that money back out of it, if you take care of it, when you sell it, and then you just move up slowly like that, and you'll have the money, as you keep saving money and you don't have payments, then you take that $10,000, you buy sell your old mower for five, and then you have five, and then you buy the mower 10,000.
Right.
And
And don't be ashamed to be the guy that's out there with the hydro walk behind either, because
absolutely
you're doing that today so that down the road you're going to be so much further than those guys that have all these finance, brand new mowers and stuff like that.
right, right. Yes, yes, I agree 100%. Just because my friend Cameron uh, made a podcast about that a while back, saying that just because a guy out there mowing out a yard, his setup looks really fancy, but there could be a guy next door with an old pickup truck, and he might be making twice what the guy with the fancy setup is really. Like if you think of net, what he comes out to at the end of the day after everything is paid, the guy with the old pickup truck with one mower on the back, he's making more money if they're charging the same price for both lawns.
Yeah,
Um,
you bet.
and that's the thing. Now there is a difference, like because people, we have to be, even if we don't have a $100,000 rig, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be confident when we go to talk to these people about these yards. That's a whole
Right.
nother.
Whatever you have, keep it clean, keep it nice, keep up with it. I mean, I'm not going to show up in a rusted out, beat up truck or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it also doesn't have to be, a 2024, King Ranch. It can be
Right. Right.
just a nice truck that gets the job done. And there's nothing wrong with that. Most of these people have no idea anyway. Most of these homeowners don't know if you have a King Ranch or the base model work truck. They don't know the difference. As long
Well,
as it's not falling apart when you show up.
and a lot of these people, like you're saying, that are people that have us do their lawns. They don't haul stuff. They don't know about trucks. They
Yeah.
don't know. Most of these people have no idea what a 15-year-old truck looks like compared to a 5-year-old, 2-year-old truck. They don't know.
Right.
They don't know the
Right.
difference,
100%.
And there are some basic things like you're saying, keep it clean and, pay attention to, you know, try not to buy, some weird colored, purple truck or something like that, like in an older truck, let's say some of these old Dodge Rams, if they're like burgundy or something, it can look really rough, as they get old. But let's
Sure.
say it was just white. Well, if it's just white and then you clean it, even an old truck like that, let's say you had a 99, you're starting out, you had a 99 white pickup truck of some Chevy or Ford or something. If you get that cleaned up, or you could even buy a cheap paint job from Mako or something, and,
Right.
get some decent tires and stuff on there, boom, there you go. You look professional. I mean, could it be better? I mean, yeah, it could, but
And
you're
it'll
going to,
get there.
right.
You'll get there.
And you're going to get 70, 80% there just by, having something that's semi decent and clean. That's what you're saying. And then
100%.
later, when you're in your position of business, then you can get that, nice, comfy Chevy that you're riding around in, do all that.
Right, you bet.
And so we're not saying that you shouldn't get nice equipment. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what you're saying. I think you should get nice equipment, as you can pay for it. That's all.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
don't buy something you can't pay for. I mean, that's pretty simple. But
Well, just don't get caught up in everything
mm-hmm.
you see. That the 20 biggest guys on YouTube or whatever you watch, the content on Instagram, wherever you're seeing, don't get caught up and think that, I can't start my business yet because I don't have that thing, or mine doesn't look as nice as theirs. Like, I see too many people that are, I don't know. I love to see that stuff too, but it's almost a disservice to some people that
Mm-hmm.
it maybe takes some of their motivation away, or they don't feel confident enough to try to get started because they don't have that thing yet. But I mean, it's just like anything else, I guess.
Yeah, well, we should do a whole nother podcast about business mindset and all that stuff. That'd be cool. Because you have a lot of
For sure.
experience doing this for 24 years. I mean, I was only 8 years old or in 99 or I remember Y2K and all that stuff, but I wasn't
See?
like old enough to mow lawns yet or anything. I was close. I started mowing lawns. I mowed our front yard, I think, when I was maybe 8 or 9 with the 1996 Toro Proline 44-inch belt drive T-bar, mower. Walk
Oh yeah.
behind that, of course, but then, but anyway, I'm just a little bit younger than you. I mean, I was still kind of a kid then, but, so you have a lot of business knowledge and you've seen a lot of things, man, especially being part of those big companies and then having small company, big companies, selling your company to a big company. There's a lot of things,
Yeah.
a lot of things
It's
you
been
could,
quite a ride.
yeah, a lot of things you've seen, a lot of things you could talk about, but let's finish this up, man. You're coming to the expo, right? I'll get to see you in about, what is that, less than 6 months away? I mean, it's pretty
Yeah,
close.
yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. Last year was so hectic we didn't make it, but I'll be back this year.
And how far drive to your?
It's around 6 hours or
Oh, that
so.
ain't bad. Not bad.
6 to 6.5. No, not bad at all.
It's not even far enough, I guess, to make it worth it to even fly there. Um,
No, no, not. I mean, not for me. I could see where it might be for some people, but it's not an issue to drive down. And honestly, the last time, year before last, I stopped halfway home after like 3.5 hours and got a hotel room and just stayed an extra
nice.
night
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
which is, it's no big deal. Everybody knows I'm going to be off. The customers are all cool with it. They understand. So
By the time you finish being at the expo and talking to so many dudes, like I can't even speak. Like when I get
right,
by the time it gets
right.
done, you have no voice. Like it's not that we've been mowing. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But you're tired in like a different kind of way.
For
Um,
sure. Yeah, just mentally drained and exhausted, and not to mention you're walking, you know, however many miles a day while you're there.
yeah, well, I've never understood. Like, how are these people gonna sign up for this 5K race thing that they put on at the expo? Are you gonna go out there and run the 5K and then come straight back to the expo and walk all day till 6, 7 at night? Like, how are you gonna do that? You know what I'm saying?
No, I'll get 2 5Ks walking around that day while they do their one. So
Well,
I'm gonna skip that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, some people maybe that do that maybe are not gonna maybe look at quite as many booths as uh, some other people. I mean, that's fine. That's totally fine. Like I'm not speaking negative about it. I mean, I think, hey, if you want to
Sure.
go and do the run, like that's really cool.
Yeah, have at it.
But let's we can do 5K run. I mean, they're in my town and stuff like every week, somewhere. So same with the concerts. Like I would, come to the rally, the Nailers rally thing, do these things. I personally don't care about like these the concerts and stuff because you can go to concerts anytime, right?
Yes.
But you cannot. This is a once a year super valuable opportunity to get to talk to other lawn care guys, and that's amazing part. So I just, I skipped the foot race and I skipped all the concerts and do all that. I want to focus on the parts that all the networking, I guess if you want to call it that, but just getting to talk to all these people in the lawn business, even nothing to do with online. Just you never
Yeah.
know the cool guy that you know just the random person that you just beside, and then and let's say that their badge says like a similar state of yours, whatever, and you start talking or whatever, blah blah, like that. That is like one of the coolest parts of the expo. So
No,
yeah,
it's
look.
that's for sure the best part. That and getting to go outdoors and try those
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that equipment. When are you going to have a chance to try some of this battery equipment, for example, or whatever? That's really, I don't know of any other times when you can actually put your hands on it and try it and actually use it and see if it might be for you.
And there's going to be so many more new booths this year. So um, if you didn't come last year, there's a whole section over on the side.
The
Uh,
West Wing, is that I
well,
heard they
I
added
mean,
something?
the outdoor. So
Okay,
you know how the outdoor part it kind of went over towards the airport a bit,
sure,
but
yep.
now the outdoor part goes all the way around the side of the building, so it almost touches that front parking lot. So that whole
Oh wow,
side is all like it's more and more outdoor area. You know what I'm saying? Um,
wow,
and that's over on the side of the building. Like when you walk out the back doors, to go out and
yep,
try stuff. All the
yep,
way on the right, all the way like around the side of the building. That's where like Steel had a big thing set up, Crest, just all these companies over there, and they expanded it all over to the left too, and expanded it all the way over like where the horse things are, because there's going to be even more outdoor area this year than last year. So like there's so much, and
wow,
then so the the stadium thing like where they have the dogs and stuff.
yeah,
Um,
sure,
so now, in the past, they have that kind of the hardscaping building that's kind of in
yep,
between, the main one where me and you hang out. In between that, there's like in the L, like the whole hardscape thing. Um,
sure.
but now they actually opened up the whole building that's on the left side of that stadium, on the other side. So like a whole nother section of the expo is now going to be over there now.
Oh,
Um, so
I
I,
can't imagine it being any bigger.
well, I think now they're officially using like all the buildings that they have because before that one, there's a whole nother building that's on the other side of that stadium thing that was just like closed off or empty or whatever, not
Yeah,
used for expo. But now
yep.
that one is used for expo too. I think they're even going to have like a podcast thing set up over there. Like the guys, you can like stop there and it
Yeah, I heard
there's
that.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. So yes, you guys need to come. Book your hotel, book your ticket. Also, I actually emailed the expo tonight because um, it asked me like if I want to add this hydro gear course or whatever on my ticket, and I think those are for dealers, but it asked me if I want to sign up for them, and I clicked that I'm just a regular landscaper. So like, I would love to go to like a hydro gear class, like some of these. They keep adding like more and more classes that are really cool. Um, so it opens earlier. It used to open at 3 or 5 on Wednesday. Now
Yeah,
it
like
opens at
right.
12 or 11. Um, and so it keeps expanding. So it's going to be a really really good year for the expo. So I'm excited about it. So
Yeah, me too. I can't wait.
I really excited about the SCAG Patriot too. So you got the 52. Is that correct?
Yep, yep.
So even slightly more usable than I have the 61. I kind of bought it for certain big lawns, but the
Right.
52 that you have is even more usable in more areas. Because the 61, man, just even on some yards that are still pretty big, it's just I don't know, just the way it is, the way it's big. You know what I mean? Um,
Sure.
just
And
even
I
like
and I we've got a X mark. I think it's a radius of 61,
mm-hmm,
and it's great for that. So I didn't need another one. The 52.
right.
52 was in stock for one, and I don't have one of those, so let's try one of those.
Yeah. So I'm gonna mow on it in the morning, early in the morning at my church. I got to mow a bunch. I'm gonna be out there 5, 6 in the morning and mow with the Patriot. And like I said,
Awesome.
61, it's great. Like for big open areas and stuff. Like it, you can really throw down some grass like that. But,
For
um,
sure.
you know, the 52 is still almost as fast, and then you can use it on some more, more house lawns and stuff if you need to. It can work better for that. Just well, if you have 61, just the way they cut and just everything is just not quite. It's sometimes the 60 or 61 is just like a little too big. You know what I mean? Like it.
A little bit. Yeah. You get some dips in the lawn or some,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a difference, believe it or not. And 52 is a great size, right? I've got a couple of right standers, and they're both 52s, and it seems to me that 52 is just about the perfect size
Absolutely,
for
because
anything.
it's not small, but it's still really big. Like it's not like a 36 where it takes you a million passes to get it done, right? It's not like
Right.
that. Um, and even a 48, like it's just a couple inches more than the 48, which gives you a little bit more deck hangover, so you can possibly trim around some things better.
Yeah, you
Um,
bet.
and so it's like it depending on what you're doing, the 52, a lot of people say that, but like 52, it can be like perfect size. Um,
Yeah, and it's surprising to go from 52 to 60, 61, whatever that X mark is. It might be 60, but those 8 inches in a small little front yard, you notice those few inches. You really do. So
well, like if it has any dip or anything, it's so wide where like the grass, if it's kind of in the middle of the deck, it's going to be like taller
yes,
than the sides, and then the sides, it's going to dig in a little bit because it's hanging out so far on the sides of the mower. So it's like that portion of the deck, it kind of cuts it a little too short and then a little too tall in the
sure.
middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, it's just kind of us being picky. I mean, I don't have people complain about it or anything, but it's just like, um, that 52 is going to give you a little bit better cut. Just like I said, articulation wise, like that. Um,
Yep.
and so yeah, you really can't go wrong. And 52, even on a big large area, it's you can still throw down. It's nice on that mower with the suspension seat, and you can just sit there and
Oh,
you
the
can go
seat's so
for it.
nice.
Yeah. And yours does
I
it have
love
a
it.
Kohler engine like mine? I forget what it's called, like Command Pro.
It's got the Kawasaki.
Oh wow, yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that the Kohler that I have is great, but depending on what Kawasaki you have, it might even be a little bit better setup. The one that you have, the Kohler engine's great. It's very cold. Like you got to have that thing full choked, and you got to let it crank
Yes.
for I don't know 3, 5 seconds before it starts up. I mean, every time. Well, I
Right.
guess not if it's super warm, but so there's some little annoyances like that. I mean, I still like the Kohler engine, but like I said, there's some small annoyances like that, whereas the Kawasaki may be a little better in those aspects.
No, these newer Kawasaki engines, like I think this is either the FS or FR, the 691V,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically starts like a fuel injected. It's carbureted, but no choke necessary, even first thing in the morning.
Oh
Just turn
wow.
the key straight up.
And
It is
where
brand new too, so
right, right. Yeah, well, even this one has always been like that, even when it was brand new. Like,
yeah,
I think it's just because it's a kind of a on that 61, it's kind of a big engine. I don't forget what it is, maybe 28, 27 horsepower, and it's just carbureted and stuff. But it's just,
yep.
I don't know. It's cold at first. You're like, and it's weird. Even though I'm in Georgia, you know what I'm saying? Like that first start up in the morning, you got to choke and you got to crank and crank and crank, and then boom, it'll fire up. But um,
Yeah.
that's a little, small annoyances. But us people, you notice these things every day that kind of get on your nerves. You know what I
Right, for
mean?
sure. Yeah.
um, so anyway, bud, look forward to seeing you at the expo. I love
Yeah.
the SCAG Patriot. You sent me a picture of it. Now, I'm just learning how to do this, but like on the podcast app, I think you can put like a thumbnail for each podcast. So if I can, I'm gonna save that picture and try to put it like as the little thumbnail thing, like for this podcast,
Oh,
so you can kind
cool.
of see a picture of the mower. Does that make sense? Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try to do that. If I'm tech savvy enough, I'll try to do that. And uh, if not, where can people? Do you have like Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing? If people want to see the mower, if there's some reason that
Yeah.
doesn't work, can you send them a picture of it or what?
Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It's all Greenscapes, Ohio.
Awesome, awesome. And like I said, whatever I'm doing, you're invited to anything and everything that me or my family do at the expo. Just like always, just like the last time. Um, like I don't have any cliques or weird things going
Right.
on. Like, but I mean, I do have hundreds of people that I know there. But at the same time, you know, like I said, I don't have any special cliques or anything. I hope to be welcoming and help to uplift, anyone that is, that I meet or am already friends with or whatever. So, yeah, and hopefully if we all have that attitude, it's going to be an awesome, awesome time for everyone. Um, so that's the thing, and hopefully, yeah, possibly, I like to do a little impromptu live podcast with people, just even if it's like a couple minutes, and talk about
Yeah, that'd be fun.
what are some cool things they've seen right while they're there, because that's cool.
Oh, definitely.
Like especially like after that first day, there's always that thing like, whoa, I didn't know that was going to be here, and that's cool, that kind of thing. Um,
I love that.
yeah, so let's work on that. Have a great day mowing tomorrow. I'll be thinking about you while I'm out mowing, and
Likewise.
yeah, it's going to be a great rest of the week, and hope you have a great weekend. Hopefully, you don't have too much work you got to catch up on. Um,
Well, you know what? Actually, we had Memorial Day. We were off, obviously.
Same with me. Yeah, so sort of a day
Tuesday, I had
behind.
a big mulch job, and then yesterday, Wednesday, it just rained all
Oh
day
wow.
long. So we're cramming it in the last Thursday and Friday here, so I can avoid Saturday. But we're in good shape.
Yes. Yes. Well, all of us are doing that same thing because everybody,
Yeah.
people that if they're not in our business, they don't understand that. They just think, oh, well, you get a day off on Monday. And it's like, well, like
Yeah.
for us, it's almost like an opposite day off because that means you're going to put a whole day somewhere in the schedule. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Yeah. You're trading stress for the other 4 days for one
right.
day off.
It's like, okay, now that means you have the same work and less hours of the week to do it, right? So,
Yeah, but you know what? That I almost enjoy it. Right? It's a little bit. It's good motivation, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love
absolutely. And it was cool to take that day off. We need to make ourselves enjoy it. Like even this year, I did not think about, oh, well, I'm going to have to cram this work. Like we have to train ourselves like that, because in years past, it would really bother me. But um, like this time, like I really just enjoyed it because, like you're saying, it almost can, gives the rest of the week sometimes, in this situation, a little bit more of a venture because you got to figure out how to conquer this
for
thing,
sure.
in less days, and um, maybe you can line up lawns where they're even slightly more efficient. Because let's say, okay, I can do these few lawns on Monday and a few over here, but since Monday's wiped out, well, that means I'm just going to do all these ones on Tuesday lined up. You know what I'm saying? So like there can be
Right.
some good parts to it.
I think you learn a lot on weeks like that.
Yes, yeah, and you learn what you can do, if you really have to,
Right.
so
Bet.
that's the other thing. And worst case scenario, if I have to do something on Saturday, I'll do that. But like you're saying,
Yeah.
if we can avoid it, let's do that.
For sure.
So all right, bud. Well, thank you. You have a great night, and we will catch up soon.
You too, Tony. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Bye bye.
All right, guys. There you have it. That was such an awesome conversation with my man. Greenscapes, Ohio, I believe. It's Ohio Greenscapes in my phone, but I think his YouTube channel is Greenscapes, Ohio. But anyway, regardless, y'all check him out. I'll get the link to his channel and I'll put it down below. Happy Friday to you guys because I'm gonna let this come out on Friday. And yeah, definitely sign up for the expo because it's coming and it's coming quick. All right, see you guys.